Thank you for that live report. The Nevada National Guard is still on standby, waiting to see if its services are needed during this storm.
Right. Our state resources are really always ready to go, especially for this. All they need is a formal request, either from the Secretary of Defense or from another state. Paul Nelson joins us live in the newsroom. And Paul, what could our National Guard provide during this storm?
Most of it would be helicopter rescue operations, Landon. The Nevada National Guard has already helped in 5 different states outside of ours in the past year, so this is nothing new to them. As time goes by, officials say it's looking a lot less likely that they'll be needed for Hurricane Florence, but they're ready if needed.
It's a typical day at the Nevada Air National Guard base. Crews are doing flight training and maintenance on the aircraft. But with one call, they could be on their way to North Carolina or other states affected by Hurricane Florence.
You train, but you train to do your job. That's really the reason that people join the National Guard, is to make the contributions both to the war fight as well as to domestic environment.
C-130s carry supplies, equipment, and people.
You'll have more. You can have seats all the way back.
The National Guard sent resources to help after Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria last year. This plane dropped off supplies in Puerto Rico, and these Army Guard helicopters headed to Texas for rescue operations. 5 helicopters are ready to go during this storm.
Most of those response assets are going to be in life-saving capacity, rescuing people off of roofs and off of cars that are stranded, and also moving transportation of resources.
Compton says each helicopter has a crew of about 4 people, flying the max number of hours allowed.
It's something that they train to do every single day, whether they're doing hoist operations in combat or hoist operations in a domestic environment. The more dangerous missions that we do in a domestic environment are the firefighting missions.
Compton says these rescue missions are relatively safe because they usually happen once the rain and wind have calmed down, and it's hard work, but worth it to save lives.
The feeling has to be elation. I mean, really, to save a life, there is probably no greater contribution. But what they do is they have to compartmentalize that. They have to put that away, move on to the next life that needs to be saved.
Compton says it typically takes 24 hours from when the National Guard's help is requested until it deploys its assets. In the last 2 years, it's supported 84 domestic missions. That's compared to 34 in the 7 years prior. Covering the big story live in the newsroom, Paul Nelson, 2 News.